Have you ever wondered how life was back in the Stone Age? What if humans had to share this planet with apex predators that ruled the space for thousands of years? How brutal would life be if you were in constant danger of getting eaten by a dinosaur? Buckle up, because Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal will answer all of your questions. In a prehistoric world filled with dangers, Spear, a caveman, returns home to find his family brutally killed by horned theropods. Before he can avenge them, the horned theropods are called away by their alpha, leaving Spear to mourn his family's loss. Fueled by anger and grief, he contemplates suicide but ultimately chooses to continue living and spends the night on the cliff. After having a vision of his family, he accepts the loss he has faced and pushes forward. While on his journey, he encounters a female Tyrannosaurus and her offspring and initially plans to kill her, believing her to be one of the killers. However, when the same horned theropods threaten the Tyrannosaurus family, Spear intervenes and helps them kill the attackers. Gotta say, that was really satisfying to watch. Soon after, the alpha attacks and the mother Tyrannosaurus loses her offsprings in the battle. However, Spear teams up with the mother and they avenge their families by killing the theropod alpha. In the end, Spear and the mother Tyrannosaurus, named Fang, form a bond of companionship and set off on new adventures together, providing each other with solace in their harsh world. The next day, Spear's frustrations reach a boiling point as he repeatedly loses his food to Fang. After Fang steals his kill and devours it, Spear's anger escalates when she does the same with his fruit. At night, Spear's memories of his own children being devoured by a Tyrannosaurus, a fact he realizes Fang is also responsible for, intensifies anger and hatred towards her. The scene is charged with emotional turmoil as both Spear and Fang confront their shared history of loss and violence, evolving the dynamic between the two characters. The next day, their rivalry reaches a breaking point when they engage in a brutal fight over a deer kill. However, their battle is interrupted by the sudden appearance of a swarm of massive snakes and a flash flood, forcing them to cooperate to survive. Facing this perilous situation together, Spear and Fang gradually develop trust and respect for each other. They learn to hunt as a team and begin sharing their kills, ultimately forming a companionship based on mutual survival and support. In a harsh blizzard, a struggling elderly mammoth becomes separated from its herd. Later, Spear and Fang ambush and kill the elderly mammoth after showing some respect to the hunt, and Spear takes its fur, meat, and tusk. As they find shelter and feast, Spear reflects on teaching his son to respect animals and appreciate their food. Meanwhile, the mammoth herd discovers the elder's body being scavenged by wolves and mourns. They notice the missing tusk and trace Spear and Fang's footprints to confront them. After a tense standoff, Spear offers the tusk peacefully, realizing the mammoths only sought the relic. They accept the gesture, take the tusk, and leave without violence. The herd reverently places the tusk in a mammoth graveyard, joining the bones of their ancestors. In a poignant ritual, they pay their last respects to their fallen elder, swaying, rumbling, and running their trunks over the tusk. This episode portrays the complex relationship between humans and nature, the circle of life and death, and the importance of respect and understanding among different species. It also highlights Spear's growth, his ability to empathize with the mammoths, and his willingness to make amends. Spear and Fang are pursued by a relentless pack of raptors and find themselves surrounded. However, the raptors suddenly flee in fear as the moon turns blood red and a thick fog descends. Later, while exploring, Spear and Fang encounter a desperate, injured caveman carrying a wild boar's corpse to his family. When giant flying creatures snatch one of the cavemen, Spear carries the injured one and the boar to their cave, only to be met with hesitation. The caveman's refuge is soon attacked by colossal humanoid bats with crimson-red skin, and after a fierce battle, the bats capture Spear and take him to their nest. Fang, determined to rescue him, infiltrates the bat's den, discovering that the bats share a bizarre symbiotic relationship with a massive prehistoric spider. Fang locates Spear, and together they defeat the spider and escape. However, the bats track them down, leading Spear and Fang to lure them into a confrontation with the raptor pack. In the ensuing chaos, the duo manages to slip away. Spear and Fang stumble upon a serene oasis, offering a brief respite from the dangers of this world. They share a moment of camaraderie before Fang's fear of an earthworm rekindles traumatic memories of a near-death experience during a flash flood. As Spear attempts to comfort Fang, mysterious humanoid creatures abduct her, leaving only footprints as a clue. Spear follows their trail but is ambushed and captured, awakening to find himself bound and in the presence of brutal ape men. These creatures force Spear into a gladiatorial arena, pitting him against their champion, Krog, who gains a power-up with a black booze. Krog defeats Fang mercilessly, leading Spear to free himself, drink a mysterious substance, and transform into a giant, powerful being. He annihilates the ape men in a brutal frenzy that lasts the entire night. However, the next morning, Spear is left covered in the remains of his adversaries, and his victory is short-lived as Fang lies lifeless on the arena floor. After mourning the loss of his friend, Spear walks away believing she's lifeless, but Fang surprises him by coughing up blood, showing a faint but hopeful sign of life. Spear leaps into action, tending to her wounds, even shooing away vultures and using natural clay for healing. When the vultures return in greater numbers, he makes a makeshift stretcher for Fang, gently pulling her through the untamed wilderness. Their journey becomes an adventure filled with encounters with wild dogs, each twist and turn of the path a test of their resilience. Eventually, they seek refuge in a cave, where Spear valiantly defends Fang from swarming insects and the relentless pack of dogs. Using nothing but insect shells, he concocts an unconventional weapon to fend them off. When the wild dogs persist and swarm the cave entrance, Spear's makeshift knuckle dusters prove no match for their sheer numbers. Just as things seem at their most dire, Fang stirs and awakens, roaring back to life, ready to join the battle. Spear and Fang stand side by side, confronting the pack of wild dogs and fighting them off, emerging as victorious partners in this wild adventure. This episode emphasizes the importance of hope and determination in the darkest of moments. Despite facing seemingly insurmountable odds, Spear's unwavering care for Fang and her remarkable recovery highlight the capacity for healing and renewal. In a peaceful forested valley, an Argentinosaurus herd goes about its daily activities until a deathly ill Parasaurolophus infects one of them, leading to a gruesome rampage. Spear and Fang come across the aftermath, disturbed by the carnage, and flee from the infected sauropod. After a close encounter, they escape into a ravine, where Spear has a nightmare of being infected. They cautiously pass the dormant sauropod and continue their journey. However, the Argentinosaurus awakens and pursues them, forcing them through a volcanic plain with erupting calderas. When the infected beast chases them into the lava, it ultimately succumbs to its injuries and disintegrates in a fiery demise. Spear and Fang watch its demise in morbid fascination before moving on, haunted by the horrors they've witnessed. Overcoming a formidable adversary like the infected Argentinosaurus would likely boost Spear and Fang's confidence in their abilities and resilience in the face of danger. This newfound confidence could serve them well in future challenges. Spear and Fang, in their quest, stumble upon a horrifying ritual involving witches and the sacrifice of a caveman. They witness the witches summon a powerful demon, and the caveman's life force is drained, turning him into a mummy. After escaping a pursuit, Spear and Fang find themselves separated. Spear is eventually captured and tied above the fire pit by the witches, who plan to sacrifice him. Meanwhile, Fang is mind-controlled by a small witch named Lula. Lula temporarily breaks the spell on Spear, revealing her ability to pause time and enter memories. She explores Fang's past, witnessing the loss of her offspring and Spear defending them. Lula then delves into Spear's memories, experiencing his moments of joy and tragedy, including the loss of his family to a horned theropod pack. Lula unveils her own painful memories, revealing her bond with her daughter and the tragic loss of her child. Determined to save Spear and Fang, she disrupts the head witch's ritual and helps them escape, sacrificing herself in the process. As Lula dies, she reunites with her daughter in a heavenly vision, bringing closure to her own tragic story. Spear and Fang encounter a mysterious and deadly creature in the forest, hearing its attacks on other animals during the night. They discover the aftermath of its brutal killings, but Fang is particularly distressed. The creature strikes again the following night, slaughtering a herd of ceratopsians, and Spear is eager to confront it. However, Fang forcefully prevents him from intervening. As they continue their journey, they face a windstorm and hear eerie sounds in the night. The creature's pursuit escalates, and they narrowly escape its relentless chase. After a harrowing ordeal, they discover that fire is the creature's weakness, and they turn the tables on their unseen attacker. In a climactic showdown, Spear and Fang force the creature into a clearing and set it on fire, revealing its true form as a dromaeosaur-like theropod. They watch as it burns to death, finally ending its reign of terror in the forest. The episode touches upon the idea that sometimes understanding the nature of a threat is key to overcoming it. By unveiling the creature's true form and identifying its weakness, Spear and Fang are able to turn the tables and emerge victorious. Spear and Fang encounter a mysterious woman, Mira, who emerges from a lagoon chased by a Liopleurodon. They team up to defeat the sea creature and then chase after Mira when she flees into the woods. After some confrontation and understanding, Spear makes a campfire for her, and they continue their journey together. During their travels through various terrains, they face challenges and share food. Spear helps Mira remove a wooden collar and iron cuffs from her neck and wrists. Mira crafts a bow and reveals through drawings that her people were enslaved by invaders with a scorpion symbol, and she was the only one who escaped. Despite the language barrier with Mira, Spear and Fang find ways to communicate and connect. This highlights the universal human capacity to understand and empathize with others through actions and shared experiences. As they reach a cave and climb it, Mira prays to the moon as Spear watches in curiosity. Later, they are ambushed by monkey men who capture Mira. Spear and Fang fight off the attackers, but they are too late to rescue Mira, who is taken away on a boat with the same scorpion symbol. Spear, in his first spoken word, calls out Mira's name, and Fang roars in sadness as they watch the boat disappear. The episode continues with Spear and Fang's desperate attempt to rescue Mira, who was taken away on a boat. Spear constructs a raft, and they embark on a treacherous journey across the ocean. They encounter various challenges, including exhaustion, a lack of food, and dangerous sea creatures. During their journey, they witness a lunar eclipse and various marine life. They eventually catch a giant sea turtle and use it for food and shelter. However, a storm approaches, and they are attacked by pterodactyl-like creatures and a massive shark that destroys their raft. Spear and Fang fight for their lives in the raging sea, with Spear managing to defeat the shark but getting separated from Fang. The bond between Spear and Fang is central to the story. Their unwavering loyalty to each other and their commitment to rescuing Mira demonstrate the profound strength of their friendship. Fang washes up on a new beach, alone and desperate to find Spear, but she is unable to locate him by the end of the episode. Fang is on the beach waiting for Spear in hopes that he will wash up. However, she hears noises coming from the forest and follows to investigate. She notices a red Tyrannosaurus, but he storms off as soon as he sees her. Meanwhile, Spear is washed on the same island but on a completely different shore. He is deeply hurt before 3 men approach him and take him to their village. On the other hand, Fang locates the Tyrannosaurus, whom we will call Red, and the two earn each other's trust by sharing a hunt. Sometime later, Spear wakes up in a spooky hut and is startled by a one-eyed woman, causing him to run off. He is pursued by the warriors of the Celtic tribe, but their leader offers him food and water, showing that he means no harm. Fang and Red bond while traveling together and become intoxicated after eating fermented fruit. Spear, on the other hand, bonds with a local village dog and is invited into the Celtic leader's home. Soon after, Red and Fang discover the Celtic village and attack it, but Spear intervenes to stop further violence. A standoff ensues, leading to a 3-way battle which leaves Fang knocked out, while Spear and Red engage in a fierce fight. In the end, Red is mortally wounded by the hands of Spear, leaving Fang to mourn for his death. The chief tries speaking to Spear, but he leaves with Fang, both visibly affected by the events, as they return to the forest together. Following their journey, Spear and Fang find shelter from a rainstorm in a cave with ancient wall paintings. Spear contemplates the images on the wall and the lives of those who came before. He also tries to motivate Fang, but she remains despondent after what happened in the village. At night, Spear is drawn to the moon, recalling Mira's prayers, and tries to mimic them without knowing what they actually mean. Later that night, the duo is interrupted by Viking warriors riding bears. After a fierce battle, Spear retrieves a Viking shield with a scorpion symbol, which triggers his determination to find Mira. Spear takes the Viking shield and sword and, with Fang, continues to search for Mira. They make significant progress in their journey, eventually overlooking a Viking village. Spear infiltrates the village while leaving Fang behind to keep his stealth. Eventually, he locates Mira and the other slaves and sets them free. However, as they leave the village, mysterious roars and growls emerge from the mist, signaling an impending threat. The threat reveals itself as a group of bear riders, led by a figure who recognizes Spear's new sword as belonging to a fallen comrade. As they cautiously approach Spear, a looming presence grows near, revealing to be Fang. A fierce battle erupts, and the Viking riders summon reinforcements to aid them. Rika, the chief's wife, arrives at the scene with her younger son, while Mira creates an opportunity for the captives to escape. Rika soon joins the fray with her own forces, but Fang, with a powerful strike, slams her into the ground, leading to her demise. In the heat of the moment, Rika's son attacks Spear, who inadvertently causes the young warrior's demise, visibly shocked by the unexpected turn of events. Cornered and desperate, they utilize a thick red mist to obscure their escape, leaving the village in ruins. When pursued and seemingly trapped, they cleverly reverse the situation, defeating their pursuers and joining Mira on a stolen ship. After a time, the chief and his son, Elder, return to the village by boat, only to be met with shock and horror at the devastation before them. They soon discover the lifeless bodies of Rika and their youngest child, filling them with a profound sense of grief and loss. After performing the necessary death rituals, the chief and Eldar donned heavy armor, preparing themselves for a journey of vengeance. Now, the next episode is set in 1890 England and introduces a group of scientists gathered at a countryside manor. Charles, one of the scientists, presents a theory about the primal instincts in modern humans. However, his ideas are met with skepticism and humor by the others. Their meeting is interrupted by news of an escaped inmate from a nearby asylum. Lord Darlington, the manor's owner, disagrees with Charles' theory and dismisses it as lunacy. As they continue their conversation, strange noises upstairs draw their attention, leading to the discovery of their butler's corpse being devoured by the escaped inmate. The survivors barricade themselves in a room, but the inmate pursues them. Two scientists, Giroux and Bertie, are killed during the struggle, leaving only Darlington, Charles, and Blakely. They arm themselves and attempt to confront the inmate, who displays exceptional agility and proves difficult to shoot. In a final showdown, Darlington, a former boxing champion, challenges the inmate to a fistfight. Charles intervenes, and they manage to force the inmate into a greenhouse. A brutal fight ensues, with Charles suffering severe injuries. Darlington, now armed with a spear, delivers a fatal blow to the inmate's head, mirroring Spear's actions in Primal era. The episode ends with Charles realizing the validity of his earlier theory, while Darlington remains silent, contemplating the night's events. Coming back to the show, Spear wakes on the stolen ship with his wounds treated by Mira. Things seem calm until the chief and Elder ambush them, seeking revenge for the massacre of their village. A fierce battle ensues on their stolen ship, which results in both ships colliding and crashing into the shore. After grounding the ship safely, Fang begins constructing a nest, revealing she's going to lay eggs. Spear collects materials for the nest, and Mira watches from a distance. While keeping an eye on Fang, they are attacked by Viking bird riders tamed by the chieftain. Spear engages in combat with the chieftain in the sky, eventually defeating him and causing him to crash to the ground. This distracts Eldar, who is knocked off from his bird by Mira, causing his demise. As the Viking chieftain lies on the ground, grieving his son's death, he eventually gives up and is carried away by the river. Mira and Spear triumph over their adversaries and return to Fang, who is about to lay a clutch of eggs. The episode ends with the three of them reunited, marking the beginning of a new chapter in their journey. The Viking chieftain, after washing ashore, encounters a nightmarish underworld after being approached by three beautiful women. However, he is ensnared by goblin-like creatures and transformed into a dark, fiery entity fueled by rage and vengeance. Meanwhile, Spear, Mira, and Fang continue their journey at sea, with Fang having laid 3 eggs. They face various challenges, including an encounter with Egyptian warriors who take them prisoner along with a fellow captive Kamau after smashing one of Fang's eggs. The trio is separated, with Spear and Fang held in cells, while Mira is imprisoned with other women. In captivity, they must navigate the treacherous environment of the Egyptians' colossal ship city, the Colosseus. Fang's maternal instincts and grief over the lost egg drive some of the episode's emotional moments. Eventually, they are forced into battle against Babylonian soldiers as part of an invasion orchestrated by the Egyptian queen. Despite the odds, Spear, Fang, and Kamau demonstrate their formidable combat skills. In the next episode, the transformed Viking chieftain, now a fiery entity with newfound powers, embarks on a journey of self-discovery. He can conjure fire-based weapons, walk on water without extinguishing himself, and revels in his formidable abilities. Meanwhile, Spear, Fang, and Kamau remain captives aboard the Egyptian Colosseus. They are forced to participate in various battles and conquests orchestrated by the Egyptian queen Ima, including plundering distant lands. After each brutal conflict, they return to the colossal ship to tend to their wounds. The trio faces a variety of opponents, but their unity and skills make them formidable adversaries. Despite their hardships, Spear and Fang remain resolute. In Babylon, Mira is coerced into entertaining the queen with a dance, while the queen's tyranny escalates. The episode takes a dark turn as Kamau is compelled to commit atrocities, leaving him deeply affected by his actions. As the Colosseus arrives at an apparently peaceful Indian settlement, the queen's ruthlessness continues, prompting Spear's efforts to resist her tyranny. The episode builds tension as Mira dances, Kamau grapples with his remorse, and Fang's eggs become a focal point of conflict. The Egyptian queen Ima's tyranny reaches new heights as she forces Kamau to execute runaway prisoners in front of her army and Fang's offspring. Kamau's memories reveal how his peaceful giant community fell victim to the queen's brutality, leading to his captivity. Seeing Fang's newborn undergoing the same treatment, Kamau ultimately decides to defy Ima, releasing Fang and engaging in a fierce battle against the queen. Spear, Mira, and Kamau's daughter also join the rebellion. Amidst the chaos, Ima attempts to use a massive crossbow against Fang, triggering a dramatic showdown. Realizing the peril their offspring face, Spear and Mira rescue the dinosaur chicks and leap into the water to escape. Kamau's rebellion against the Egyptian oppressors spreads to the enslaved giants rowing the Colosseus, inspiring them to revolt. The giants overpower their captors, leading to a moving display of unity and rebellion. Meanwhile, the queen faces a fierce confrontation with Kamau and is ultimately defeated, meeting her demise. As the protagonists escape, Kamau reunites with his daughter and joins their group. However, they now face a new threat, the Viking chieftain transformed into a powerful fire demon who is pursuing them relentlessly. In the final episode, Spear's tragic backstory unfolds as his tribe is attacked by tigers, resulting in his father's death. Despite his heroic efforts, Spear couldn't save him and received a Medal of Honor. Meanwhile, Mira's past reveals the loss of her husband to the Vikings and her escape from captivity, leading to her eventual meeting with Spear and Fang. After reaching the Enedi Plateau, they find refuge in a cave, where Spear joins Mira in a moonlit worship. They later arrive at Mira's village, initially met with fear, but ultimately accepted by the villagers. During a cultural dance, Spear feels out of place, leading Mira to guide him to their new home, where he creates a mural reflecting his journey and sense of isolation. The Viking chieftain empowered by the fire giant assaults Mira's village, prompting Spear and Fang to confront him. They engage in a fierce battle on a mountain, both engulfed in flames. Despite Spear's valiant efforts to defeat his fiery adversary, he succumbs to fatal burns, while the chieftain remains unscathed and proclaims victory before being dragged underground by the fire giant. Mira and the tribe rescue Spear but find him comatose with severe burns, and the tribe's shaman, recognizing his imminent demise, departs. Observing Spear's mural, Mira understands his yearning for family and belonging, culminating in an intimate moment before Spear's passing. Years later, Fang and her grown offspring, alongside Spear and Mira's teenage daughter, reside in Mira's village. With a shared look, they honor Spear's legacy, and together with Fang's resounding roar, they pay tribute to his memory and the enduring bond between them. Despite our protagonist passing away, there is good news of a third season which is to be released sometime soon. Its main focus will be Spear and Mira's daughter, but it can also dive a bit more into Spear's childhood memories. Whatever it holds, I cannot wait to watch it for myself. What about you guys? Are you excited for the next season? Let us know in the comments below.